Hello and welcome to another update video about Ethereum. So for Ethereum, we are coming down in what I believe is wave 4. We talked about that yesterday. We said that a wave 4 ideally would not come lower than 1680. It can, yeah, but for me it would take this wave a little bit out of proportion with that wave 1, 2 down here. I mean, there is another chance, another possibility to move that 1, 2 higher. Yeah, so I could without a problem, and then still count it, move that 1, 2 here. But if I do that, then we are also very close to an overlap here. So for me, this wave 4 should ideally not come lower. If it does, then we basically know that the downtrend, which we're expecting to start, has started. So I gave you in the previous video the 1680 level, and this is exactly the level that wave has come down to. It's come down to 1680. Okay, so what we need to do now to label that wave 4 at the Elliott Waves, and then get an understanding of how likely is it that this wave could be complete. Why did I give you the 1680 level? Well, if we take the length of this wave 3 and we look at the retracements of the same, you can see that we have come down to the 38.2% FIB level. That is for a wave 4, the ideal retracement level. As I said, it could come down to the 50%, but the problem is it gets unlikely because with such a short wave 1, with such a short wave 2, that wave 4 is out of proportion. And if we move the 1, 2 higher, then we are going to have an overlap with wave 4. So if we go below 1680, for me, that's a good signal that we will come lower and that actually waves 4 and 5 were already completed earlier. Because as we said before, this is possible as well, that wave C, in which this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is playing out, would then have been finished up here. So imminently important is to understand, do we go above 1680 or not? Do we hold it? Yeah, do we hold it? Do we lose it? If we lose it, then that's a signal for a stronger decline. Now let's label first of all the WXY pattern there, which I think this is. So those are subwaves, see, of that wave. WXY, I mean, again, this is micro counting, so this could change. But to get a sense of this and to understand if the minimum requirements for this wave 4 are done, let's label this. So for me, this is a WXY. And if we look at the Y, WXY, all of them are 3 wave moves, most likely at least. And then this is the wave, which A, we had it as a B, this is the C. And there's a few things now to take into account. First of all is the FIB retracement, which we talked about at 1680. You have additional support here with a 50-day moving average. Then we have the length of the wave W and the length of the wave Y. They often go together. So measuring that, it would give us a target of 1666. Okay, so keep an eye on that level in the worst case, but again, there are different ways of measuring this. For me, the most reliable is the Fibonacci retracements. But let's say we briefly drop below 1680s for on a day like that, yeah, where we have a lot of volatility. Let's say we have a wick down and then move up. It wouldn't invalidate the wave 4. Again, it would make it a bit more or less likely, but strictly it wouldn't invalidate it. But again, ideally we want to move above higher from 1680, and at the moment we have not made a higher high, we have not made a higher low. So for now it still seems like we haven't broken the downtrend. Another way of measuring target would be wave A and wave C, the length of that. So let's take a look at that. So there are various ways of measuring and calculating. Here, also here, that would even take us to 1656, but then we would have an overlap with a potential wave 1 here. So I bet best to avoid that. I would rather go with the Fibonacci retracements. And what we need to be ready is that at any point in time we could lose that 1680 level and then we risk a move down. I can't promise that it will happen, but it is an early signal yeah, that we are going to come down further. We talked about that level before, not only because of fib retracements, but because of this important swing low we had here, which did also hold. For now, again, we are still making lower lows and lower highs, so there's no evidence this is complete. There is now a little bit of a break of that trend line here. So it could mean that we are reacting positively to that fib level and indeed will come up in a wave 5. I updated you yesterday, the channel members at least on Telegram, late yesterday, that if we hold the 1680 level, then it is likely that we're pushing higher to the area around 1830, maybe even 1860. Yeah, then we would have to move that a bit higher. I can actually do that now. I'll lift the target range a little bit higher to reflect that. But we've come into the target area anyway. But with the latest price information, we could say that the wave 5 might push a little bit higher, okay? Especially if we assume that this here might be the wave 1, the longer wave, then we can calculate that and take here the length of that and adding it to the low of the wave 4. Then we come to a conclusion we might reach here the 1840 level. So different possibilities, of course. We need to understand if we drop below 1680, there's a good chance we come down further. Yeah, and that actually the wave 5 is not gonna play out, that the wave 5 was already in. What does that mean? It is exactly what I said to you yesterday, that when we moved to the 1790 level, which was actually one of our key resistance levels there and one of our targets, we obviously saw a reaction to the downside. And it all depends now on the next pullback. Yeah, so if we move higher once more in a wave 5, then I will probably take some more profits and then wait for that dip. So there's a good chance that after this wave 5 then, we are going to come down here into this area finally in a wave C between 1130 and 1330. If we only come back anyway now or after that wave 5 in a corrective wave, in a wave B, and we probably will be able to determine that by the structure at a certain point, then there's a good chance we push once more higher in a wave C. So that we had here only the wave A complete. This is now a wave B retracement, either now or after a wave 5, and there will be a wave C up. That means if we come down quite a bit lower and we can determine that it is a corrective wave structure like a WXY, I'll probably buy closer to a possible low. 1500 is here key support, and we would then push higher in a wave C. So there could be the opportunity to get in here. We can see at the moment that Ethereum is losing out a little bit over Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin for the last few weeks, months, okay? So it's highly interesting how this is now going to play out. I'm not going to enter the market here at the moment. I'm going to wait for a larger pullback, and the nature of that pullback is going to determine where we are heading next with a high likelihood. So that's also what I tried to bring across in the last videos. So it is good to let these scenarios play out to get more clarity, because from here it is still most likely a wave B in which we are, the higher level wave B, in which all of these sub scenarios are playing out currently. So from that point of view, a wave B is unpredictable. That's why we want to let it play out and then take the next steps with low risks as soon as we know what kind of pattern is playing out here with a high likelihood. Okay, and that's my update about Ethereum. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then also check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.